Everybody needs a pooping corgi, that's what we said.
Right. The poopy corgi. Guys, who wants the poopy corgi? If you want it, I'll send it to you. So, write down in the comments. Because Mrs. DIY is pooping all over the pooping corgi. So, and I like it. Hello, and welcome to the homesteading channel with Professor DIY, Mrs. DIY, and Elpida. Happy holidays to you. Today we're going to try some things we have never tried before. Most of it might not even qualify as woodworking, but it will be arts and crafting. Is that a more appropriate term?
Sure.
We're going to try to do Christmas gifts with a twist. Take more economical approach, getting things that are reasonably priced and making them really high priced by DIYing. So today we finished those 3 projects. Some went as we expected, and one of them required more imagination and activity to make it what we wanted. So essentially we're taking very simple pieces of art and we elevate them to something you can display in your house, give her a gift. I mean, I would feel very comfortable giving this as a gift, or this, right? And these are what?
I wouldn't give that third one as a gift.
Everybody needs a pooping corgi, that's what we said.
Right. The poopy corgi. Guys, who wants the poopy corgi? If you want it, I'll send it to you. So, write down in the comments. Because Mrs. DIY is pooping all over the pooping corgi. So, and I like it. But in any case, the basis of this project is how to make all of these frames, right? So, and you can adapt them to many different things. We're going to show you everything, as always we do, on how. So, art tends to be expensive, especially art that it is packaged, it is framed, it is ready to display, right? However, if you buy the canvas, very often it is much more affordable. So that's what we did. We bought a couple of pieces of canvas, and this is the Virgin Mary. And we're going to take it from just canvas, which is not a great gift to give someone. Here's a canvas, and try to create a modern display for it. Our next ambitious project will be taking those very inexpensive canvas frames that you can buy either in the dollar store or Walmart or any of the arts and crafts stores, and create shadow boxes using our laser. Now, we're going to use our laser, depending on the complexity of your design, you might be able to do it with a craft knife, right? Mm-hmm. And if we think of a simple design, we might show you that as well. And if we think of any other projects, we're going to add them in this episode. So
We'll just do 75 projects today?
75 projects.
Okay.
The endless project episode.
Okay.
So this is a rare instance that we're going to actually measure and start with measuring, because it's important to know the dimensions of our canvas here.
15 3/4.
15 3/4 height and width, about 12.
1 foot. Yep.
Yeah. And if you ever thought that rocks are not useful, here is a great use for rocks. And I'm going to go against the advice of Mrs. DIY and Elpida, and I think this is a great gift.
He's upside down.
They did not want me to do this,
He's
but
upside down.
oh. I think this is a great gift.
We need a pooping corgi. Who needs a pooping corgi?
Everyone needs a pooping corgi.
Right.
This is our thumbnail and the title of the video.
Everyone needs a pooping corgi.
Everyone needs a pooping corgi.
Okay.
Here we are with a variety of scrap, because we should rename this channel to the scrap channel, right? We love using scrap, primarily because we have boatloads of them, not boatloads of them. So we found a piece of thin ply that we're going to use, but if you want to buy these are not very expensive, and most of the stores sell them in 2x2 and 2x4 dimensions, that they are $10-15. They're not very expensive, you know. So we're going to do this, and we're going to cut it, what we said, 1/4 of an inch bigger all around than our frame. So again, another time that we're going to have to either set our saw, which I prefer, or measure. I prefer to set our saw though. So a little bit of a trip and a tip.
A trip and a tick. Mm-hmm.
A trip and a what?
A tick. It's tricks and ticks.
How you're going to size your piece, right? Mm-hmm. Now we know our dimensions, so you will need to know your dimensions.
Okay.
Right? And then you need to decide how wide your frame will be. Mm-hmm. In our case, our frame is how wide?
This is 3/4 of an inch wide.
So it's 3/4 of an inch. You have to double that
So 3/4 times 2 is 1.5.
1.5. And then, because you want it to overlap a little bit, like so, you don't want it to be like this. You want it to help it hit down. You need to subtract. We decided to subtract what? 1/8, 1/16?
1/8 on each side, so 1/4.
So 1/4. And that is our final cutting dimension. Did we confuse everyone? Is that clear as mud?
We hope so, because we're confused too.
Right. Well, let's go and start cutting and see what happens.
Okay.
So anytime you cut plywood, start with the factory edge towards your fence, especially when you're cutting offcuts or scrap. As you can see, our piece has a damage here, so you definitely don't want that in your project. And we got lucky because we do have a very good factory edge, okay? Now on the other side, we also have a factory edge when we reduce the height, so we're going to have to put that piece on our fence for when we cut the other side. So let's put the correct side, which is our factory edge, and now we're going to cut it.
Okay.
Watch closely here as I start the cut, and you're going to see that the fence is moving away from me. I was not sure what was happening there, so I was trying to correct, but unfortunately what happened was that I had not actually locked the fence. Not a big deal, but that shows you that even a small mistake
ladies and gentlemen,
counts.
I did a stupid thing. We took all our care to make sure that we were correct, and I did not lock the fence. So as I start cutting, I noticed the board was moving and I was trying to keep it, but we were lucky enough because, of course, because it moves this direction, the cut was wider. So we got lucky there and we just ran it through after we locked it, and it is perfect. It's exactly the dimension we need.
And so to talk about this, there are actually 2 locks on this fence. This one is the top lock, which locks this part here. But then there's a second lock here, which actually allows this to open wider for wider pieces of wood. And so this is the one that was not locked.
Because things happen.
Yep.
Next, we're going to use our piece we're going to cut our frame from, and we're going to make a frame all around. We're going to mark with a pencil a frame all around, so we know exactly how to position our art. And go around and position and reposition this until you have a nice outline. And we have a nice outline all around that tells us where our frame will be. And now we have to make sure that our canvas is definitely between those lines, correct? So one of the downsides of using scrap is that we didn't have enough from this piece to do the whole frame. So we need to find another piece, which is okay, but that second piece was a little thicker. And now as you see, they're perfect, right?
So we've used the thickness
So we
planer.
use the thickness planer. Now you might not have a thickness planer, and our advice is buy one. No, that's not our advice. Our advice is you can always do that with sanding. Again, it will take you much longer. But if you do not use scrap, you will not have this problem because you buy the thickness you want from the store, and what they call those. So a fairing strip will be pretty much what you can buy, and you buy enough and you have the correct dimension. So not only the thickness, but the width of our piece was incorrect, and we have to adjust for that. And again, no measurement here, just use your existing piece and then lock your fence. Give Elpida the other piece and let him mill it the correct direction.
If you have an Elpida where you are.
Everyone needs an Elpida.
Right. I'm gonna need some sort of pushy stick. This is very.
How many people does it take to mill a piece of wood? 48.
Here, at least 3. And this little edge is gonna come right off. No
Yes.
problem. There we go.
Okay, back to cutting now.
So we're working on the dry fit for our framing pieces. We've got all 4 pieces cut out, and we're using that square to line everything up.
Everything looks pretty good. The corners look nice and tight.
And they're going to be flush with the piece that we cut. So we think we're ready to proceed with the next step, right?
Yep.
Yep.
So we are not an art gallery. We're going to do it our own way as we usually do. And what we're going to do is we're going to use spray adhesive to attach the canvas to our backing board here. And the reason we're doing it that way, this is what they had in Walmart, by the way. Liberally spray the adhesive
And the directions for this specific one is to wait until the adhesive gets tacky. So it doesn't say how long that will take, but follow your adhesive directions. For our adhesive, we just have to press it down. So we're using a scraper to attach our canvas to the backboard. And this is a repair that we have to do. Hopefully you won't have to do, because we accidentally damaged our canvas. But in your case, that should be a totally optional, unless you want to damage it and have the fun of repairing it, right?
I think that'll be fine because we'll overlap with our...
So we have a couple of stains that might be appropriate for our piece. So we're going to try them and see which one we like the most. And we do that by using a piece of scrap from the actual material and trying the stain that we think we want to put on. And then if we want, we can also bring it over by the picture and see how it looks in contrast, right? So you like that, or you want to try the other stain?
I like it.
All right, excellent. Now when you stain those pieces, only stain the sides and the top. Do not stain the cut part or the bottom, because that you need for gluing purposes. So you need it to be raw wood. Any other tips and tricks, Mrs. DIY?
Oh, I think those are the main ones. Just making sure that you...
And you can see how a little bit of stain transforms a very plain piece of wood. I cannot speak. It transforms a very plain piece of wood into a much more elegant piece.
We got some tongue twisters today, huh?
Twist tonguers. So our stain has dried, and we're ready to build the frame around our beautiful Christmas icon.
Okay. And these are the pieces coming in now. Decided on a semi-light stain. What was it? It ended up being a walnut, but it's not super dark.
It's a walnut, but it's not a very dark one.
And it's going to tone with that.
And we're going to use some wood glue and some brad nails to attach it.
Okay.
All right, how we're going to start, Mrs. DIY?
I think we're going to start with the bottom.
You're not going to start with the start?
Start?
This is our
This is
start.
the start.
We are
All
starting.
right, so we're going to put glue on the piece and on one end, and then we'll work our way around.
Actually, don't put that glue on the end yet. High-end glue spreading machine,
Equipment.
Device.
Yeah.
because we spare no expense. You don't need to go crazy with this. Is it aligned? And now we're going to go around and finish it, and we'll show you the finished product. So this is our finished product, and you cannot tell me it doesn't look like $1,000,000. It looks great. You ladies agree?
Yep, it's really nice.
And it didn't cost us close to a few $100s that you have to pay to buy something like this ready, right? In this form. And we wanted it rustic, we wanted it to be simple. The idea is that the picture of the Virgin Mary is the focus, not the frame. You do not want to exaggerate the frame to take away from the picture. And the back is very plain. Everything is solid wood, right? There is no plastic or cardboard or a lot of the things that particle board or MDF. But a lot of the times the ones that cost a couple of $100 actually charge you. So the same way you made the frame before, just make sure that your frame now is going to be smaller, not bigger than your piece, right? And we are going to attach it, and in essence we are putting the canvas on a frame like you would buy it or display it in a gallery, right?
Right.
So the next step will be to attach it. And we're using staples, hand staples this time, which is what professionals use, right? Keep in mind, professional doesn't mean know what you're doing. Professional means charge you for what I'm doing.
Yeah.
In that sense, we're not professionals. We're giving you all this nice information for free. And you simply go around the frame and you tack how often do you do Mrs. DIY?
They're about a little over an inch apart, just so there wouldn't be any loose areas. It's pretty taut.
If you want to show us how you do the corners?
And that way you have a very nice tight corner. And that about concludes it. You know, at this moment, you're pretty much done. And now you have a presentation worthy dog on a potty.
Corgi.
Corgi on a potty? Alright. It looks awesome. I love it. So this has turned into the frame series.
Okay.
And here is another frame that is going to look like a display box for our art here.
Canvas. So the idea is that it comes forward here, and it has this. It's going to be a shadow box effect, and then in the back,
It will be flush, right?
no, in the front it's flush, in the back it has the depth to it, because in the back we're going to install
Okay.
the lights, right?
Alright. Or can put it on this one
Okay.
and leave it on the bench there so they can see how it looks. And it creates a very nice frame there. And of course sanding, because why not?
What?
So we're going to use a little bit of wood glue and brad nails to keep it together, because we are going for that little rustic look. If you wanted to, you can use dowels and make a little of a visual point with visible dowels. There are many different ways to do this. Or you can even use, if you want an industrial look, you can use metal brackets. And the hardest part so far is getting the glue to flow. It's not very cool today, but it's cool enough. And after some final sanding, because again, why not? We're going to test fit this and see if our canvas fits into it. This should be a pressure fit. You should not have to do anything else but put your canvas in if you have done everything right. It's actually a very nice fit, isn't it?
Need a measure?
Well, I was gonna show them your way so that you see what it looks like recessed and then also
Okay.
pushed forward. Just gonna show them. So
We have a disagreement. I thought we were doing it this way, but it is actually Elpida's piece, so she doesn't want it that way. She wants it to be the opposite way, so this has depth from the wall. So when it is on the wall, you have all this as the depth for the piece. And behind there, you can put lights or do little things like that.
right. And this is not finished. This is just where we got with this one.
Actually, that's a very nice display, though.
It's fine. It's just not finished.
Our lasering experiment, it didn't go quite as we expected it, but it definitely is giving us ideas, right?
Yeah.
We're still trying to salvage it, but this is part of the fun of DIY. Some things work, some things don't.
6
When plan A doesn't work, you go to plan B. And plan B is we have some artisan paper here, which are maps that we've used in a previous project many moons ago. And we're going to use it to modify our original design and make it even better.
even better.
Even better. Using the sharp blade or a pair of scissors, you can cut the dimensions you desire, and then you're going to have a ready piece to complete your project. And this, by the way, is totally ad hoc. We were not planning to do that, but we were not really, I don't know, we're unhappy with the outcome, but we were not exactly what we wanted, right?
Right. I mean, we're just rolling with the punches, as it were, using what came out of the project because it was an experiment to begin with, and now we're just trying to give it some additional depth.
We try to make it more better.
But that's what you do when you're doing DIY. Sometimes you just say, hey, that didn't quite work out. What can I do to still make this work? Or,
Especially if you have not done it before.
yeah.
We're taking our piece and we're going to put the insert we just cut to size. We're doing all this on the fly. So we're putting a little foil down because we plan to spray the inside of that cut with our adhesive and then apply our paper. So it may or may not work. One of the issues we encountered is that the canvas did not have the structural integrity to keep together, so it needed some reinforcement. This was a good compromise for us, and it worked very nicely, as you are going to see in the end. But many options are here when things don't work your way. It is a very nice effect with the light behind it without our flash. Hold on. And as you can see, with a little bit of light behind it,
we get a very nice effect. And even with a lot of light, it looks pretty cool. So it has a very nice definition in it. Not exactly what we were planning, but not bad at all, right? So we like to give you cost. How much all this cost? The two canvases we purchased for a very good price. Now it depends on where you're shopping, but you can buy them on Amazon for $5 or $10 a piece. It could probably be slightly more expensive in a place like not Home Depot. What is the other place? Hobby Lobby. But you can find them in the $20-25 range. I found them a little more affordably. The wood we used for us was free because we use only scrap. We didn't buy any wood. But even if you bought the wood, this wood is not more than $5-10 max. So this is, and I don't know how much a can of stain would cost. $5?
No, it's more like 9, but we use very little of it. We already had it,
Right.
so.
And the
Right.
spray adhesive can was $12.50, but we'll get many, many uses out of that.
Right, so it's marginal. So let's say $15 for three pieces is reasonable if you buy everything, right? In our case, it didn't cost us close to that. But these are fun pieces that we enjoy. Well, friends, we hope you enjoyed this episode and will inspire you to do something yourself, either for your own decorations or to give for gifts. I made this specifically to give as a gift with a person in my mind, specifically for this beautiful icon with a very religious theme. Elpida designed this, and I think you have a place to put it in your house. And the corky was a happy accident. So, we hope you enjoyed this episode, that you learn how to make a variety of different frames that you can adopt for all your projects.
Yeah.
From Professor DIY, Mrs. DIY, and Elpida, happy holidays, and let's build something together.